Hey, horror fans, welcome back to Jay vs. Horror and another episode of Hardcore Horror Reviews. Today we're going to be talking about Salo, or Salo, however you want to pronounce it. One of the grossest films ever made. That's what we'll call it. It's referred to as the 120 Days of Sodom. It's been titled Pasolini's 120 Days of Sodom in the English language prints. It's commonly referred to simply as Salo, though, or Salo. It's a 1975 art house horror film directed by Pier Paolo Pasolini. The film is a loose adaptation of the 1785 book, The 120 Days of Sodom, which was not published until 1904, by the Marquis de Sade, and the film is set during World War II. And this was Pasolini's final film. He was actually murdered 3 weeks before, or 3 weeks, this was released 3 weeks after his murder, yeah. And the film, guys, who knows? There's lots of stuff that it's trying to say, I guess. It's hard to pay attention to the stuff it's trying to say with all the gross stuff that's going on. The film focuses on four wealthy, corrupt Italian libertines in the time of the fascist Republic of Salo. The libertines capture and kidnap 18 teenagers and subject them to 4 months of extreme violence, murder, sadism, sexual and mental torture. And supposedly the film explores the themes of political corruption, consumerism, authoritarianism, nihilism, morality, capitalism, abuse of power, social Darwinism, sadism, sexuality, fascism. You could go on and on and on and on, right? And the story's done in 4 segments because I guess you adapted the Marquis de Sade's book, but they wanted to adapt it like it was Dante's Divine Comedy and write it in do the movie in 4 sections, right? So yeah, and the film also contains a lot of references to Nietzsche's 1887 book. Which that book's caused a lot of problems for people. Hitler was a big fan. And it premiered at the Paris Film Festival on November 23rd, 1975. Had a brief theatrical run in Italy before it got banned in January of 76. It came out in the U.S. in 77. It basically got banned because it's a disgusting film and it depicts a lot of sexual deviance, sadism, and violence towards young people. I mean, these are children, right? To an extent, they're teenagers, but they're still children, it's just a rough one, guys. And like a lot of movies, I can take it. I can deal with even the ones that have the hardcore rape scenes. If I know that there's something coming out of it, if there's going to be revenge at the end, I can deal with it. You guys know I don't have any trouble. Well, I love extreme violence. I don't have any trouble with that. But Salo or Salo is basically just human degradation, and it's done over and over and over again. It gets worse and worse and worse. And, There's everything from them making these kids eat feces to making them serve them naked and just raping them whenever they feel like it. But it's not just that. I mean, these people are disgusting. Like even the way they treat each other is disgusting. And I'm not gonna go through the plot of the movie. It's broke up in 4 segments, and I think you guys can figure out the plot yourself. There's not really a plot. I mean, they have these kids and they just torture them, and they have some prostitutes up there that kind of help them wrangle the people that they're torturing and stuff. And I'm just not a big fan of this movie. I don't like it. I mean, and I know, like, I've heard several people talk about it before, and I know that there is a lot you can read into this movie if you want to sit there and break down every theme that you can pull out of the film. I get, I went and read the novel that it's based on, and I get that there is some class stuff, like class warfare, and people being treated literally like shit because they're not of a certain class or lineage. So, but I don't think there's anything. I don't think that there's anything this movie has to say that justifies its actions. I really don't. Not that I'm saying it should be banned or that people shouldn't go watch it. I would never say that about anything. I don't think anything should be censored. And I think that this movie proves that because half the people that see it love it, and the other half are like me, and they're like, what do you want me to say about it? It's just a movie about human degradation, just humiliating human beings over and over and over. And it's almost like, to me, if you watch this, I hope you are getting something out of it, because if you're not getting anything out of it, then you're just watching this to see these things happen to these people, and that's terrible. I mean, it really is. I don't know. Like, who knows what triggers people. I just watched Atraz, watched Visceral. These are hardcore films. They don't leave any room for nicety, right? And neither of those films, or a Serbian film, bother me near as much as this one does, because you just watch people be humiliated over and over again. There is no story. There's no real plot here. It's just, these people have been kidnapped, and now they're going to be tortured and sodomized, and every bad thing you can think of is going to happen to these kids. I mean, right down to making them eat shit off the ground with a spoon. I mean, come on. It doesn't do it for me. I don't know. It just doesn't. I've seen it 3 times. I've actually sat through it 3 times. The first time I knew I didn't like it. The second time I sat through it, I thought, I had some conversations with people about what you're supposed to get out of it. And so I thought, I'll give it another chance to see if I can pick up on these things. And you can. I mean, you could run down a laundry list of stuff that, different themes that are shown in the film. Different social thoughts and things like that. But it's just not worth it. It's, to me, there's no enjoyment in the movie. There's no, wow, that was interesting, or I've never seen that before. Other than the things that you haven't seen before that you're going to see in this movie are just things you don't really want to see anyway, I kind of have to call bullshit on it a little bit. When people sit there and they tell me, well, this and this and it's a metaphor for this, and it's, I'm like, yeah, I get it, but I got to call bullshit, because the movie's just a bad movie, okay? It's not even shot well, or it's not even done well. If you're trying to tell me that there's some deep meaning to this movie, come on. The deep meaning to this movie was, it's in an era where shock films are selling. You could get your movie at the drive-in if it's shocking enough, or you can get it put on a list, which will guarantee that everyone wants to see it after it's been put on this list of movies that you're not allowed to see. Do I know that that's what Pasolini was going for here? No, I'm sure he was going for some kind of social statement, but it just misses the mark for me, guys. I'm gonna give Salo. I'm gonna give it 6 out of 10. I will say this: I respect its place in horror history. I respect that a lot of people get more out of it than what I do. And I just respect it as a film, that it got made, and it apparently had something to say, and it wanted people to hear it. So, I'm never gonna, you'll never hear me say that should be banned or that should be pulled or anything like that. But for me, this movie is just something I don't want to see. It's not fun. There's no good effects in the movie. Some of these hardcore movies, at least somebody gets their head split open or something. You're like, damn, how did they do that? Like, great, that's an awesome practical effect. How the hell did they do that? I don't think this film has a scene like that at all, where I wondered how they did it. I was concerned watching it. Like, I'm wondering about the ages of the actors, some of the actors in this movie, and what they went through. And so, yeah, I'm going to give it 6 out of 10, guys. It's not for everyone. And, I'd say it's probably 50-50, but it's probably less than that. I'd say it's probably more like 30-70. 30% of people love it, get something out of it. And, there's a difference to me. I can tell when somebody's arguing something out of bullshit. Like, I can tell when somebody's like, oh, yeah, I like this movie because I got to see some people eat shit in it. and then they're just trying to come up with some reason why it's a valid film, why it's got all these social statements and all that. I'm like, I can smell it on you a mile away, man. You're not here to argue about that. You're here because you like to watch people eat shit, and you never got to see it before, and you got to see it in this movie, and by God, you love it. So if that's the case, just admit it. If you're a disgusting person, just admit it. You're not fooling me when you try to tell me all the political aspects of the film. I mean, it's no coincidence that it's set during World War II, that these people are Nazi sympathizers. It all plays into that Nazi exploitation stuff, and this one just does it far more extreme than those other films do. If you like the Isla films and stuff like that, the She-Wolf films, this one's, you can hang it up on this one. I mean, it's definitely over the top. So this wasn't a great review, guys, and I don't really consider myself to be somebody who does reviews that much. More of what I do is just recommend films or talk about them. This one, I went back in and watched it again late last night, and sat here all morning trying to figure out what I was going to say about it. And then I just, decided, I'm like, I don't really want to talk about this movie that much. I'm just going to tell people what I think of it, and then I'm going to be done with it. And I don't have to watch Salo ever again. This is the third time. And I don't ever have to watch it again because I have this review. It's up. People know about it. They can see it. That's the last time I have to talk about it. I'm sure now that I've said that, I'm going to be on a podcast or something, and somebody's going to bring it up, and it's going to be a topic of discussion because I said I didn't want to talk about it anymore. That seems to happen with the movies that I don't want to talk about anymore. But guys, 6 out of 10 for me. Definitely, like I said, I can't recommend it, because I don't know who this movie is for, really. I guess if you like to see human beings be humiliated at a top-notch level, this would be for you. If you like trying to find sense in chaos, this maybe would be for you, because that's what you're doing when you're trying to figure out what's going on in this movie. But other than that, I can't really recommend it, and but I won't not recommend it. Well, you should watch everything. Trust me. You should watch as much as you can, everything if possible. So we're going to put a free link to this movie that I cannot stand in the description, guys, so you can go watch it, check it out for yourself. Maybe you think I'm crazy. Not a favorite of mine. That's Salo, guys, from 1975. And so the next film that we're going to be talking about in our hardcore horror review series is going to be Frontiers, the French film Frontiers. We're going to take another look at Frontiers. One of my favorites, top 3 or 4 favorites of those French extreme movies. And that's all we got for this time, guys, and we will talk to you the next time we got something we're talking about. Bye.